What is going on, Arizona sports fan family? How are we doing out here today on this Friday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen? Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic Friday so far. I'm not sure if you feel the same way, ladies and gentlemen, but I am feeling all sorts of anxious. I am feeling all sorts of every emotion that's not happy, I guess. I don't know. Right now I'm just feeling very anxious. I'm constantly refreshing my Twitter feed. I'm constantly trying to be in the know and what's actually going on pertaining to this, this big news that we have going on here with the Arizona Cardinals. Who is going to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, and why is it taking so long? That's what we're going to be diving into today, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get started, definitely huge shout out to everybody that's currently in the chat. Thank you so very much for being here. By the way, if this is your first time here, definitely smack the like button on this video on YouTube, as well as if you can do me a huge solid, go ahead and subscribe. Join the family. We're on the road to 12K, ladies and gentlemen. It's absolutely for free, so definitely subscribe it up. It is free. And one last thing is that this video is brought to you and sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. We do finally got a sponsor for the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, and right now, if you love fantasy football, you can go ahead and download the app Fantasy or Underdog Fantasy. Use my promo code AZSF, and whenever you make your first deposit, they will go ahead and match your first deposit up to $100. You put $10 in, they'll give you $10. You put $50, they'll give you $50. You put 100, they'll give you 100. You put 200, they'll give you 100. So free money if you want to go ahead and take advantage of the promo code that we have going on here. AZSF is what you need to use. Like I said, sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. But let's dive right into this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about what is going on, right? What's going on in the NFL, and why haven't the Arizona Cardinals made their move yet, right? I think that's kind of one of the biggest things that a lot of people are kind of not really worried about, but feeling anxious about, right? Now, let me get to this one big storyline first before we dive into the whole Sean Payton. Is he coming here? Is he not coming here? What's the holdup? That type of thing, right? So big news came out of the world of the NFL, and it has to do with one of the candidates from the Arizona Cardinals. Now, if you guys weren't in the know, or you guys don't keep up on what's going on, DeMeco Ryans right here was tweeted out here by Around the NFL, and you see Ian Rapoport retweeted it right there as well. And basically it says this: developing 49ers defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans emerging as the top candidate for the Texans head coach job. So yeah, right. Now, I did predict DeMeco Ryans is going to go to the Texans. And then I originally said that the Broncos were going to get Dan Quinn. So I'm going to be wrong on the Broncos. I think I'm already fully aware I'm going to be wrong on the Broncos because Dan Quinn already is going back to the Dallas Cowboys. But DeMeco Ryans seeming to be a top candidate for the Texans. Good for them, right? That's all I can really say here as a football fan. Good for DeMeco Ryans. Definitely well-deserved. And he's very well respected within the football community. A lot of people speak very, very highly about him. But yeah, let's talk about this, right? Let's dive right into what's taking so long. Why haven't the Arizona Cardinals made a move? Because as of right now, there is five. There's 5 candidates still available for the Arizona Cardinals to make a move on. And when I'm giving you these candidates, ladies and gentlemen, please keep in mind that these are candidates that have interviewed with the Arizona Cardinals, or at least had some sort of interest with the Arizona Cardinals. First one is Ajiro Aviro, right? There's that individual. There's also Aaron Glenn. There's also Jonathan Gannon. There's also Brian Flores. And then there's also Sean Payton. Now, out of all 5 of those individuals, we have 4 defensive coordinators, or at least 4 defensive-minded coaches, and we got 1 offensive-minded coach. Now, that offensive-minded coach is Sean Payton. Now, we did have 2 other people that we were interested in, but no longer are an opportunity for us to get them. Frank Reich is now the Panthers head coach. And then we also have Dan Quinn decided to go back to the Dallas Cowboys to remain a defensive coordinator over there. But the big storyline is Sean Payton, right? That's the big storyline that we have going on right now, and why this is taking so long. Here's what I can say about this, right? Now, I believe Ian Rapoport actually came out and there was a lot of interviews, whether you want to say it's the Pat McAfee show, whether you want to say it was, I believe he was also on a radio station earlier today. Regardless of what you're saying, right? To be honest with you, everybody kind of seems, or at least the big prediction that people are saying is that they think that this is going to be done today. Now, why it's not done today? I mean, that's a story for obviously the Cardinals, right? That's a Cardinal question more than anything, right? That's not something that unfortunately that we can answer here as fans or any of the insiders or the people that are in the know. But people are saying that we're supposed to at least know by today, or at least their best guess is that we're supposed to know by today. Now, as of right now, right, doing a quick refreshing all the things that I have here that I like to look at to see if there's any updates for the Arizona Cardinals, and there's still nothing quite out there yet. The biggest storyline that did came out today was basically the D'Amico Ryans thing, right? The D'Amico Ryans was an option for the Arizona Cardinals to possibly, get, but the moment that he declined, or not declined, but canceled our interview, it almost kind of seemed like I don't think he was even in the running, or he wanted to be in the running for the Arizona Cardinals. So that kind of is one of those things where I'm just like, okay, we'll leave it at that. I don't think D'Amico Ryans is a serious possibility, right? Let's get to these contributions here real quick. What's up, Jonathan? Appreciate you. He says, breaking news. Just kidding. What's up, bro? What's up, dude, man? Appreciate you for coming through, man. Thanks a lot for being here, by the way. Yeah, let's continue to talk about this for sure. Who are some real candidates here, right? Who are some real candidates? Now, obviously, Brian Flores is one of the big ones. No, I know a lot of people in the chat are probably not going to want to go that route, and I'm right there with you too. I don't think that that's a coach that I'm going to be very excited about. Now, obviously, head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, we're going to support, right? Now, we are going to have those group of fans that are going to be like, oh, that's an L. The Arizona Cardinals don't want to win. This is what's going to happen, right? But so we know how it's going to go down. But I mean, what we can do as Arizona Cardinal fans, obviously support whoever's going to be in there, right? Whether it's Brian Flores, Aaron Glenn, Ajiro Aviro, Jonathan Gannon, or Sean Payton. Now, we know that Sean Payton is the favorite, right? At least for Cardinal fans, he's the favorite. Like, let's be honest here. Sean Payton is the favorite for Cardinal fans that we want, right? Like, I'm not saying the favorite to land on the Arizona Cardinals roster. We're just saying that in terms of fans, the fans are the ones that want Sean Payton. As of right now, I've spoken to at least 5 to 10 different Cardinal fans, through my social medias, and everybody kind of told me that same concept, right? Right now, it truly feels like it's Sean Payton or bust. Now, I want to kind of take a different approach with that. I get where you're coming from in that whole, that mindset. But regardless if it's Ajiro Aviro, Aaron Glenn, Jonathan Gannon, or Brian Flores, best thing we can do is obviously support. Now, we're always going to have that thing behind our mind, right? Because this whole situation and the way that it's getting treated, or at least like not getting treated, but like the way that it's happening, it almost kind of feels like that Sean Payton thing, right? Now, Sean Payton, it probably didn't get as close as we thought as this Sean Payton thing, but this is what it feels like, right? Sean Payton. Now, if you're a Suns fan, this also kind of feels like the Kevin Durant to the Suns, topic. Now, granted, this went a lot further than that Kevin Durant one, that rumor went through, but this is what it feels like as Arizona Cardinal fans, right? Like, we hold on to something that we want so darn bad that, like, I've already had like 3 or 4 people say, hey, as an Arizona Cardinal fan or Arizona sports fan, I'm just used to disappointment. So I don't like to set my expectations that high, which I get it, right? I get where people are coming from when they have that, that type of mindset. But like for me, I want, right? That's what I want. I want to get Sean Payton because I truly know, and I hope and I feel that Sean Payton is going to be the guy that's going to be able to change the narrative and change the course of the future for the Arizona Cardinals, right? This organization, because one thing that we touched on yesterday on our live stream was that, yes, Super Bowl is what we're looking for, right? But we're also looking for a head coach that is going to get us in contention for the NFC West, right? Year in and year out. That's what we're looking for as Arizona Cardinal fans. Somebody to not make us the little brother of the NFC West, right? Whenever you're looking at the 49ers or the Seahawks or the Rams, you know how they kind of give you the nuggies of the little brothers. That's what it kind of feels like as an Arizona Cardinal fan. So we want a head coach that has experience, right? We want a head coach that has done it before. And on paper, it sounds like Sean Payton kind of is that guy for the Arizona Cardinals, or at least the way that we're kind of perceiving it here for, Cardinal fans from, looking in, and I think that's kind of really what we want. But why is it taking this long, right? Now, keep in mind this as well, ladies and gentlemen. This Sean Payton storyline, it's not as easy as, hey, I want you, we're going to sign you up right now, right? It's not as easy as that. It isn't. There's a lot more, I'm not going to, I guess, yuckiness. I guess there's a lot more involved in this story as opposed to just, hey, I want you, come on in, right? Like there's a lot more involved. We need to speak to the Saints, right? The Saints and the Arizona Cardinals needs to come into a spot where they're both comfortable, right? Where they're both meeting expectation, or they're both meeting the compensation that both organizations want. So is that maybe why there is a delay in the process? Because the way that Cardinal fans, and I'm probably one to blame as well. And I still think there's hope, right? I'm not shutting down the idea of this can happen, because I still think this can happen. Sean Payton and Michael Bidwell looked too darn friendly yesterday, and Michael Bidwell and Sean Payton drove away in the same darn car yesterday. So I still think that there is hope, right? Like I might be one of the few out there that I still think that Sean Payton can still be attainable for the Arizona Cardinal fans, or the organization in general. But yeah, this transaction isn't as easy as, I want you, let's sign you, right? We're good to go. Good luck in the 2023 season. It's not that easy. We have to speak to the Saints. And so far right now, with what we know, per the Saints fans, it definitely makes it seem like the Saints are trying to hold on to their guns, because their current head coach, I don't think very much people are a fan of their current head coach. So even if it doesn't work out for, the Saints to trade away Sean Payton, then they're comfortable with keeping Sean Payton and continuing to pay him on his contract. And not only that, but, have him as the backup plan. So it's a little worrisome, right? It's a little worrisome as a Cardinal fan, but I think this can be done. I think this is definitely something that can be done. It's just we need to make sure that we get this thing completed. I'm still positive about it. Now, the wait sucks, right? I'm on social media, right? I'm on Instagram, on Twitter. I'm on every social media you can think of, I'm on. So I'm hearing it from all sides of the coin, right? I'm hearing it on all sides of the coin. A lot of people saying things like, hey, just don't set yourself up for, don't get too excited. I can't. This is exciting news. This is an exciting storyline. It truly is. Like, as a Cardinal fan, I get where people are coming from, right? Like, they're feeling some sort of snake bitten, right? They're feeling some sort of, I don't want to set myself up to fail. But then why are we Cardinal fans, right? Are we just going to sit there and not feel any emotion? Or at least that's kind of the way that I roll. Like, this is a big story. It is. And if I have some sort of hope, and I'm talking about even a 10%, 15, 20% chance hope of landing one of the best head coaches that is available out there that can change the course of the future, I'm all in. I'm all in. Now, if it ends up happening where we don't get him, yes, I'm going to be disappointed, right? I mean, obviously, right? Now, did I set myself up for disappointment? Yes, I did. But honestly, I think it's a great storyline to follow through, right? I think it's a fantastic storyline. And honestly, the Cardinal fans that are in this to get Sean Payton and truly want him as much as I do, it was a good ride, right? It was a good ride. But I'm still keeping positive hope. I'm still keeping positive hope. Me, the things that go on my mind is my family, obviously, my wife, my baby girl. That's always in my mind, right? Always in my mind. And then obviously is the Arizona Cardinals, right? And then I have other teams in the Arizona, fan base, but my favorite team within the Phoenix area is the Cardinals. Football. It's football all the way. So it's constantly what I'm always thinking of. It's constantly what I'm always about. And yeah, that's just kind of in my mind. So if you think I'm annoying, it's just going to get worse. Trust me. So yeah, right now, sitting with 5 still possibilities for the Arizona Cardinals, 5 candidates still. Those 5 candidates are Ajiro Aviro, Aaron Glenn, Jonathan Gannon, Brian Flores, and Sean Payton. And I know we have over 150 people in here right now, and somebody's going to say, well, what about D'Amico Ryans, Mike? What about D'Amico Ryans? Ladies and gentlemen, this report came out earlier today, and Ian Rapoport ended up retweeting it, and basically it looks like D'Amico Ryans is a top candidate to go to the Texans. So being the fact that he canceled on us, I don't think D'Amico Ryans is a possibility. I truly don't. I'm not going to hold my breath for D'Amico Ryans. I know that there is a lot of hype around him, right? Some are seems to say that he is the best coordinator that's available, right? In terms of leadership, and whoever is going to get him is lucky, is what people are saying out there. But as of right now, I think the only really possibilities that he can really go to is the Texans and probably the Broncos. But the Texans look like they really want him right now, because he is still playing in the conference championship. So his team is still in the conference championship. So technically the Texans need to wait. So they need to wait to sign him. But it looks like the Texans are really keeping their eye on D'Amico Ryans, and I think they really want to go very aggressive and get him. Now, let's continue to focus on the Arizona Cardinals, because that is obviously that's the most important thing here, right? We're here to talk about the Cardinals. Now, it is kind of coming to a point where a lot of our candidates, the list is getting smaller and smaller, right? The list is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, because we missed out on Frank Reich, which I know there's a lot of people that really had to convince themselves that this was somebody that they're willing to go for, right? And then Dan Quinn was another name that people were starting to kind of get a little happy about, right? Getting a little bit of optimism about from, Dan Quinn and Frank Reich. But now that that's not a possibility anymore, our list is getting smaller and smaller. But if you think about the people we still have available, like Ejiro Evero, although we're hearing good things about him, we don't really know too much about him, right? Like, and I think this is his first year as far as being like a defensive coordinator. Throwing him into the fire and making him a head coach, it's a little concerning, right? I'm not sure if I'm on board with that. Now, Aaron Glenn, I don't know where we stand with Aaron Glenn, truly. Like, I heard that the interview went pretty well, but I don't know if he's a real candidate there. Now, I could be wrong. We can get, thrown through a loop, but as of right now, I don't think those two are that big, that big. And then there's also Jonathan Gannon, right? Jonathan Gannon is the defensive coordinator from the Eagles. I mean, okay, cool, right? I mean, I guess the ones that are mostly intriguing to me right now with the people that we had. Now I would have put Quinn and Reich. Oh, sorry, I would have put Quinn and Reich. Sorry, Frank Reich over Brian Flores, but being that they're not available anymore for the Arizona Cardinals, our only real options of people who were head coaches before was Brian Flores and Sean Payton. Like, that's all we have right now. Now, I don't see a world where the Arizona Cardinals are going to be like, well, let me go ahead and reach out to, Shane Steichen, right? Like, I think the time is over now. I think we have our pool of people that are going to be the next head coaches of the Arizona Cardinals. And right now it remains to be those 5 candidates right now. I can't see a world where we're going to get some breaking news coming out later on today and saying, oh, the Cardinals want to reach out to Ken Dorsey, right? The Arizona Cardinals want to reach out to Shane Steichen, right? I don't think that's going to happen. I think that time is gone. I think these 5 candidates, Ejiro Evero, Aaron Glenn, Jonathan Gannon, Brian Flores, and Sean Payton seem to be the guys that are going to be, one of them is going to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. One of them is. I don't know which one, right? We know who we want, right? In terms of at least the people in the chat, we know who we want. It's just, when is this going to get done? But like I said a little earlier, one of the biggest reasons why I think it's taking longer than the usual, right? The usual is because it's a little bit more than just, hey, I want you, right? I want you. Come on in. Let's sign this contract. Let's get this rocking and rolling. I think it's more than that. So yeah, you got to talk to the Saints and look for their compensation there. So it's a lot to go into it. It's a lot of yuckiness. It's a lot of stuff that fans don't really have to worry about. But also, well, I guess the compensation for Sean Payton in terms of his salary, that's something that the Cardinal fans shouldn't even think about. Like, literally, like, that's not going to affect our pockets. It's not going to affect anything that we do on our day to day. So for the people that are sitting out there and saying, oh, I don't want to pay Sean Payton $20 to $25 million, that's way too much. Well, hey, FYI, you don't have to pay for him, right? Like, you don't have to pay for him. So there's that, right? Now, I don't want Flores either. I'm seeing people on the chat here saying Flores. I don't want Flores either personally, but I mean, if he does become the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, all I can say right now is that, hey, welcome, right? Welcome. Let's start this new era, and let's see how we can kind of go from there. But right now, it does kind of feel like Sean Payton or bust, and I know it shouldn't feel like that, but it's going to be very uh, how do I explain this? And I can't speak for all you guys in the chat, right? All 180 of you. I can't speak for everyone, but to me, I would feel like, man, that I think that would take the wind out of my sails if we got Brian Flores. But I would understand why we would, right? If we did go the Brian Flores the Brian Flores route, it would mean because Sean Payton is just couldn't be attainable, right? Because the Saints wanted too much. The Cardinals maybe didn't want to let go of too much. We didn't want to pay him that much. This is what Sean Payton wanted to do. So it's a lot to go into it. Now, right now, we're sitting at 2:22 p.m. AZ time. Now, I know that there's a lot of people that are different parts of the world, but that's where we're sitting at right now. I was hoping that we would at least get some sort of information at least by like 11 a.m. is what I was thinking, that a decision was going to be made. If not Sean Payton, then somebody else, right? But as of right now, we're all just kind of playing the waiting game, right? We're all just kind of playing the waiting game, and we're trying to figure out who is going to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, if you guys can do me a huge solid, right now we're sitting with 24 likes with over 150 people in the chat. Definitely do me a huge favor. Smack the like button if you guys haven't done so already. Helps out the algorithm. Subscribe if you love talking everything Arizona Cardinals. Subscribe it up. We're on the road to 12K. But most importantly, this like button helps a lot more than you guys think. Helps out the algorithm. Helps everything out. If there is a lonely Cardinal fan out there that lives in Wisconsin, he can find himself a awesome community here of Cardinal fans that love to talk Cardinals. So yeah. So we'll see, right? Let's continue to kind of do a real quick refresh here just to make sure I'm not missing anything here on my end pertaining to breaking news. And yeah, nothing on the dockets pertaining to, nothing going on right now. Now, I do want to play you guys a clip. I do want to play you guys a clip so you guys can kind of be a little bit in the know in terms of like what I heard earlier today. Now, this is going to be an interview that took place with Fox Sports earlier today, and it was a conversation that was had with Ian Rapoport about Sean Payton. So let's go ahead and take a look into this. This is from Fox Sports. A quick reminder, this is not my clip or anything like that, but it gives us something to talk about. It gives us something to kind of continue to have this conversation of if this is Sean Payton or not. So another quick reminder, this is from Fox Sports 9:10, and it's a conversation between Jody, which I believe is the host, and Ian Rapoport that happened this morning. So let's go ahead and take a listen into it. If you guys can do me a favor, when I do start playing it, just give me some thumbs up if you can listen, if you can hear it.
With Jody Ayler. Are the Cardinals right now right back to being a real contender for Sean Payton services?
I think they've always been a real contender. I've sort of known / thought that Sean Payton to Arizona was a real possibility, at least for more than a week. It's just, I think the original thought was maybe he'd go to the Broncos at some point this week again, and then he did all the original interviews with each team, and then were they going to bring him back, and then we'll see what happens. I don't believe that anything is done yet. I still believe it is something that could happen potentially.
Is it safe to say right now the Cardinals would be the leader if he is coaching in the NFL next year?
No, I don't even think that either, because I know he doesn't have a second interview scheduled with the Broncos, but I would say they haven't written it off either, and they're still trying to figure out. I know they like D'Amico Ryans a lot. I know they had some eyes on Dan Quinn. Sean Payton is not out in Denver either. So, if they brought him in for a second interview, I think that would get really interesting as well. He's obviously out in Carolina. There's been no second interview in Houston, so I don't know that he's out, but I don't get the sense he's in either. But I think in Denver and Arizona, it's still a possibility.
Is this a Sean Payton or Vance Joseph two-horse race right now for the Cardinals' next head coach?
Fortunately, I'm not sure that's the case because, you have a couple potential second interview guys. You have Brian Flores.
Yeah.
You have Aaron Glenn, both of whom did a really nice job, were really impressive. And all it would take for the Cardinals to call them and be like, all right, I want you to come in for a second time. And then it's like, okay, here we go. The Cardinals are in sort of regrouping phase a little bit.
Yeah.
Sitting back, thinking about it, whether they want their next move to be. I honestly don't know what they're going to come up with, but it's probably going to be at some point today.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. A lot to kind of unfold within that. That's Ian Rapoport, one of the, how do I describe him? A guy that's very obviously credible in the know of what's going on in the NFL. He works for the NFL Network. very credible guy. Basically, that's where a lot of people get their news, right? Either him or Adam Schefter, Tom Pelissero, whoever is your squeeze, usually comes from him. So he even's kind of in the dark, right? He's kind of doesn't really 100% know, but he thinks that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be making a move by today, right? Like he said it by the end of that interview that he thinks that the Arizona Cardinals are going to be making a move by the end of today. Now, is it going to happen, right? Right now, we're still playing the waiting game, right? Right now, we're still kind of waiting and, doing this type of thing, and if you have one of those little fidget spinners that people I don't know, do people still do fidget spinners? You're doing that type of stuff, refreshing your Twitter feeds, refreshing this and that. And we're all just kind of waiting. We're all waiting. Ian Rapoport thinks that there is going to be a decision made today. But like I said a little earlier, it's not as easy as, hey, I want you, Sean Payton. Let's get you under contract. Now, another person that I didn't even mention with the five possible head coaches candidates is also VJ too. I completely forgot about Vance Joseph. I completely forgot about Vance Joseph being a possibility of being the next head coach. And I think that's one thing to me where I'm like, I'm not really worried about Vance Joseph that much anymore. Like, I truly am not. I think Vance Joseph was one of the first. I think Frank Reich was technically the first interview, and then Vance Joseph was shortly after. But, like, if we truly did want Vance Joseph, I think that would have been a second interview. And especially because he's in-house, it would have been something like that. Now, we haven't really heard that a second interview happened other than Dan Quinn. And obviously, we know that he ended up going back to the Dallas Cowboys. So right now, it's just a waiting game. But per Ian Rapoport, it seems like it's a two-man race, right? Or at least the Sean Payton watch looks like it's either going to be the Cardinals or the Broncos. That's kind of seeming to be the two, right? Now, let's say, for example, the Texans do go with DeMeco Ryans. Now, there was reports that came out that said that the Broncos liked Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn is not a possibility. He's going back to the Cowboys, and they liked DeMeco Ryans. If DeMeco Ryans gets swooped up by the Texans, what does that happen with the Broncos? The Broncos go in panic mode. What happens to the Arizona Cardinals? We go in panic mode because, yes, we still have people that are available on our list. But if you truly think about it, the only really one person is Brian Flores that has had head coaching experience. Or I guess Vance Joseph also had head coaching experience as well. But like for the most part, nobody wants Vance Joseph to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, right? Like chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the chat if you disagree with me. But I don't think anybody wants to have Vance Joseph as the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Brian Flores, it would be something where we would support, but I don't think anybody would jump out of their seat about it, right? I don't think, season tickets are going to be, going at an all-time spike, right? I don't think people are going to be excited about this new era of Arizona Cardinals as much as Sean Payton. Now, will people be excited? Yeah, there'll still people be excited about, Brian Flores, but I don't think it would be as exciting as a Sean Payton. You got to think about it as an investment. You truly do. You bring Sean Payton in here, everything changes for this Cardinal organization. We're not going to be seen as the little brothers anymore, giving us little noogies, right? The Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers. They were one of the first ones to call it, man. They loved Cliff Kingsbury. They used to say things like, oh man, I wish you can keep Cliff Kingsbury. Ha 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 ha. I'm like, shut up, man. We knew darn well that Cliff Kingsbury wasn't going to be the guy for the future. It's just that we were seeing progression and we know how the Cardinals work, right? So it's kind of one of those things. So let's get to these two contributions. What's up, brother? He says, like the video so Mike can make more videos. Appreciate you. Well, the video is more for the algorithm. I don't get paid for any likes. I don't get paid for anything like that. It's just to kind of help the reach is really what the like button is for. It's nothing. I don't get paid for likes. I truly don't, but I appreciate it. What's up, Jason? He says, what's up, Mike? Where is the announcement at? Your guess is as good as mine, man. Honestly, we just listened into an interview with Ian Rapoport. Now, Ian Rapoport did end up coming out and basically saying that he thinks the Arizona Cardinals are going to be making a move today. That's what Ian Rapoport ended up saying in the interview that we just listened into probably about 5 to 6 minutes ago. So he thinks it's going to be a move today. It's just why it hasn't happened yet. It's one of the biggest mysteries. And I think, obviously that we're all together, right? We're all chilling with each other, kind of waiting at the peak, right? At the edge of our seats. I think it's better to be with company, right? As opposed to waiting, sitting in the corner, refreshing your Twitter feed and, kind of doing this by yourself. So I appreciate everybody for being here. I truly do. But I thought that we were going to get this information at least by 11 a.m., maybe even 12, like around noon. But right now we're sitting at 2:31 Arizona time, and we still haven't heard anything, which is, a little concerning, right? It's a little concerning. But honestly, at the grand scheme of things, if they get Sean Payton, it's got to be one of those things where I feel like the Arizona Cardinals do need a move. They do need to move fast because D'Amico Ryans, if he is the top candidate for the Texans, as this report ended up saying for the new people that are here, this was the breaking news that ended up coming out earlier today that D'Amico Ryans is seeming as a top candidate for the Texans. That puts the Broncos, right? That puts the Broncos on watch, right? That puts the Arizona Cardinals on watch because the Broncos are on watch. So it's all kind of a domino effect is what it is. It's one of those things where, like, we don't want to be here, right? As Arizona Cardinal fans, we want to know who our next head coach is. Like, we truly do. We want to know who our next head coach is, and it doesn't seem like we're getting what we want right now. But like I said earlier in the stream, when we had a lot less people in here, it's not as easy as I want you, Sean Payton, sign this contract. It's not as easy as that because of speaking to the Saints. So that might be why it's taking a little longer than usual. What's up, Jason? Hopefully they are figuring out trade comp. Yeah, I think this is what it is. I truly do. Now, are we going to get it by today? Like the average person, right? Like me and you, if I was in the office, I probably would get this deal done. You know what I mean? In probably like 2 or 3 hours. And I would be starting in the wee early morning to get this deal done, right? Now, we understand how billionaires and organizations work. They love to do emails, right? Little emails here every once in a while, and they don't want to seem desperate, so they wait about 20 to 2 hours or 20 minutes to 2 hours to respond. And I think that might be what we're sitting in right now. They might be going through negotiations back and forth. And like I said, there's no inside information that I'm trying to give to you guys, but that's the only thing that I can think of in terms of like why this is taking so much, because as of right now, we haven't even heard any news. Like, if this interview didn't go well, we would have probably heard something like, oh, the Arizona Cardinals are going to reach out to, Jonathan Gannon for a second interview, right? Or maybe a Giro Viro or, Aaron Glenn. We haven't heard that either. So a little concerning, but honestly, this offseason has been very, very hush-hush is the way that the Arizona Cardinals have treated this offseason. And like I said, as long as they get it done, I can care less, right? The main goal and what we want as Arizona Cardinal fans is Sean Payton, right? I think for the most part, most people in the chat can agree that Sean Payton is the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees, right? The guy that everybody's going after. Is just who is going to be that team that's going to be willing to drop those draft capital, right? As well as pay him the big bucks. 20 to 25 million is what is rumored that Sean Payton wants. And I know there's people out there saying, well, I'm not going to pay him that. Don't worry about it. Joe Schmo, don't worry about it, right? Average Joe out there, you're not going to pay him. It's going to be Michael Bidwell. But if you think about it, Sean McVay is, I believe, the top paid head coach right now, and he's getting paid $18 million per year. So, like, keep that in mind as well, that $20 million to 18, like the difference is $2 million. Yes, it's a lot for us, right? It's a lot of money. It is. But for that type of business and what they do, it's not that much. So keep that in mind. Now, what is this going to take, right? Like, I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday pertaining to compensation. Like, what would we be willing to give up, right, as Arizona Cardinal fans? Now, it's not our decision. It's Michael Bidwell's and Monty Osenfort's decision. Like, that's the number one, end all be all. We can give as many predictions as we possibly can till we're blue in the face, and, it might be wrong. Although, one thing I do know, I hope it's for certain, is that we're not going to be trading away that third overall pick. And if the Saints truly want that, all I'm going to say to them is, actually, no, let's say this. If that's what the Saints truly want and they don't want to move up our first overall pick, I got one thing to say to them, and it's this.
Shame. Shame.
It'd be a big shame on the Saints. But I did get some insight from some Saints fans yesterday, and it seems like they're in no hurry and no rush to get rid of, who they have. They're in no rush to get rid of Sean Payton because a lot of people don't even believe in their current head coach right now. So even if he does get the axe in a year or two, they got Sean Payton right there, right? So it's more of a backup plan. So there's some people believe that he might find his way back in Fox. Now, is that going to happen? I don't know, right? I don't know. We can all kind of hope and pray, but I think that might be what's the big holdup right now. That's what I think the huge holdup is going on right now, is that it's not as easy as I want you, love me, right? You know, come to the dance with me, Sean Payton. It's not as easy as that. It's compensation to talk about, and it's the draft capital. It's what is, I'm assuming, is taking the most. What's going on, everyone? We have a lot of people in the chat here right now. Appreciate you guys for being here, by the way. Let's talk about draft compensation, right? And I don't think we're going to move off of much of what we talked about yesterday. I think a second-round pick is very, very attainable. Second-round pick of this year is sitting at the 35th overall, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a very, very, in my mind, a late, or actually might be the 34th overall. I think it's the 34th overall, because the Miami Dolphins ended up forfeiting. So that makes the picks 31 picks. And if we're sitting in the third overall, yeah, I think we're actually sitting at the 34th overall pick, which is our second rounder. So that's a good pick, right? It's as good as a first rounder, maybe like a late first rounder, depending on how you look at it. You can still get a really good player with that pick. So I'm willing to give up that pick. And maybe we go dig into the 2024, then we can kind of look into something like that, right? Where we can say, hey, I'm willing to give you a second round pick this year, and maybe next year a third. If they want to twist our arm, maybe a second round pick. If they want to twist our arm a little bit more, then you could start thinking maybe about a first round pick in 2024. But with that, there's just so much unknown. There's so much unknown. And the biggest reason as to why there's so much unknown is because Kyler Murray, right? We don't know what Kyler Murray is going to be. Now, granted, I'm wearing Kyler Murray's jersey, and he's my quarterback. Until the moment he's not my quarterback, he's my quarterback. But there's so much unknown with Kyler Murray right now that it's a lot of, right? It's a lot of yuckiness that first round pick next year can very well help us. And if we give it up for Sean Payton, there might be a little bit of, I don't know what we're going to do. So we'll see. Oh, here we go. We got a 50 bomb coming our way with Mitch. What's up, brother? Appreciate the contribution, my dude. Another bomb, man. That guy just, appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much. He says, here is some beer money to celebrate when we get Payton. I'm super optimistic. It feels just, I agree, dude. I agree. I think me and you might be one of the most optimistic people out there, because there's every post I do, I kid you not, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, anything, there's always that one person that's like, oh, you're setting yourself up to fail. That's what a lot of people tell me. You're setting yourself up to fail, Mike. Oh, the expectations you're putting up is just way too high. But like, as a Cardinal fan, I hope that we all can get to this level one point, right? That's what I would love for this fan base, is to set our expectations to a level of championship. I get we're going to have seasons like we had, right? But I don't like the thought of, being good for 1 or 2 years and then rebuilding for 3 or 4 years, because we just don't know what the heck we're doing. You bring in a Sean Payton in here, you bring in structure like Sean Payton, that's exactly what you need. That's exactly what you need. And I get it. Brian Flores is cheaper, right? He's going to be cheaper per year, which it's not something that we should worry about as fans, but whatever. Okay, I see your point. He's going to be cheaper per year. We don't have to get rid of draft compensation. But let's be honest. Do we for sure know that Brian Flores is going to be a guy that's going to change the course of this, around? And like I said, if he gets hired, I'm going to be a little bummed out, but I'm going to support him. I'm going to be a little bummed out, but I'm going to support him. But Sean Payton, to me, is the guy that's going to be just changing it. And I mean changing this organization. And I get it. There's going to be some people out there that are going to be like, no, Mike, you're going to give up a second round pick? You said you don't want to give up the farm. It's not giving up the farm to me. We got 8 picks this year. 8 picks. We got the 3rd overall, which is an absolute gem, which I'm excited about. And then if we give up our second, we still have 2 threes. We have 4 picks in the top 100. 4 picks in the top 100. So if we're going to give one up for a Hall of Fame type of coach, in my opinion, I think it's something that we should consider. I think it's something that we should consider as fans, and not be too, I'm not going to say cheap, but a little too stingy, because we know how that is, right? This feels to me like the Peyton Manning thing, right? Is Peyton Manning going to be our next head coach? Oh, it seems so real. Peyton Manning goes over to the Broncos, and he wins a Super Bowl over there. We ended up losing Bruce Arians, which one of my favorite head coaches. He ends up leaving us because he retired, and he was health concerns reason. He wins a Super Bowl with the Broncos. Sean Payton, to me, is going to be a guy in the long haul that I feel like can really do great things for the Arizona Cardinals, which I'm I'm ready. I'm ready, man. So me and you, Mitch, man, we're on the same wavelength, brother. We're on the same wavelength. I think this can be a real possibility. It's just we need to get into the same compensation of the Saints. So I'm excited. What's up, DMNK? He says, I'm proud of Bidwell and what he has done so far this offseason. And if he gets this deal done, that will be the day Cardinal football starts building a win. Oh, exactly. Exactly. And I sometimes feel like we're all on the same wavelength because I kid you not, I didn't read your super chat until now, but my tangent was saying exactly what you're saying right here. That's what my tangent was saying, is the fact that when you bring in somebody like a Sean Payton, that's what you need to do. And I get it. You don't need to do it, right? You don't need to do it. But if you want to change the course of the future of this organization for the long haul, this is kind of a move that you need to make. If you bring in Brian Flores, cool, right? Let's all hope and pray that it's going to work out for him. Let's be honest. Most people will have their stomach punched out with the wind taking out of their cells. And let's be honest with ourselves, if we get Brian Flores, a lot of people will feel that way, but we'll support it. We're Cardinal fans, right? We'll support it. But Sean Payton would be so great. Oh my God, it would be so great. What's up, Michael? Appreciate the contribution. He says, we have him just finishing the details. Oh, I love it. I love it, right? You might be right, man. You might be right. Pen to paper, right? That's probably what's going on right now. I hope so, right? I'm probably as optimistic as I ever am. And I know that there might have been not a lot of people optimistic 2 or 3 days ago, but that's how it is. Like, that's how it is. Truly. This crazy NFL changes from week to week, from day to day, from hour to hour in how things change and how fast this news comes through. So we'll see. What's up, Jonathan? He says, mock draft is saying that we are trading a spots with the Raiders. Ooh. That's interesting. Well, this is the way I shook out with the whole mock drafts, and we're going to continue to do mock drafts as well once this whole head coach situation happens. And I know I promised you guys a mock draft, and I think I'm going to release it this Sunday with one that we trade away DeAndre Hopkins. So I think I'm going to be working on that here pretty soon with the mock draft if we do trade D-Hop. Just kind of keep that in mind that's what people requested. Not that I want to get rid of him, but I think the only way that would make sense if we do trade with the Raiders, which would make sense with the Raiders, right? I feel like the Raiders has always done us a solid, right? I feel like we always kind of pull one over on the Raiders. But if we did switch with the Raiders, they're sitting at the 7th overall spot right now, right? We can get some draft capital. We definitely can. If we just move back, 4 spots, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 spots is what we would move back by. I think if we did do that, I hope and pray that Will Anderson and Jalen Carter isn't there. I hope and pray that they're not there. But like, if they're there and we still trade them, oh, that would be such a hard pill to swallow. That would be such a hard pill to swallow. It truly would be. But I have seen some mock drafts. I've even seen a mock draft that had people have us go Will Levis. Like, it's crazy out here right now for Cardinal fans. It's crazy right here for Cardinal fans right now. People are saying some crazy things that we're even going to draft the quarterback. So these mock drafts are fun to look at, but some of them are a little ridiculous. What's up, Mitch? Appreciate the contribution. Again, another one. He says, going back to the whole health thing, look at Kyman Bruce. I hope we wouldn't do the same to Payton. Oh, I agree. No, I agree. Honestly, there was some people that reached out to me. They're like, oh, well, Sean Payton, dipped out on his Saints team. What makes you think he's not going to do that to you guys, right? That's what people tell me. They're, oh, what makes you think he's not going to do it to you guys? Well, honestly, I'm going to try to just think positive here. Like, legit. I'm going to try to think as positive as I possibly can here. And to me, yeah, I hope not. Sean Payton, to me, is the guy that we need to go after. And I think everybody, whatever podcast you listened to before you found this channel, right? Or I consider this a podcast as well. So whatever one, or if you've been rocking with me for years and years and years, I appreciate it, by the way. And everybody had Sean Payton, their top. Everybody did. There's nobody out there that hasn't. Maybe there might be like 1 or 2, but they're just trying to kind of stir some stuff up. But yeah, no, I agree. Going back to the whole health thing, look at Kime and Bruce. I hope we wouldn't do the same to Payton. I agree. Kime needed to go, and I know that a lot of people felt that I was always, attacking Kime. It's just I felt like there was just a new era that needed to be done, and I hope and pray that if he is truly sick, that he gets better and that he does, whatever is his next, venture in life, if he comes back as a GM, that it all works out for him at the end of the day, right? So, and I hope the same thing for Cliff too. I hope he gets another job, truly. I truly, truly hope he gets another job, whether it's a head coach, offensive coordinator, or he goes back to college. I hope nothing but the best for him, truly. Appreciate the contributions, though. Guys, thank you so very much. Let's go ahead and do a quick refresh here real quick. And like I said, I just want to make sure that I'm giving you guys as much up-to-date information as I possibly can. And as of right now, there's still nothing from Ian Rapoport. There's still nothing from Adam Schefter. There's still nothing from Tom Pelissero. And we're just kind of here, right? We're kind of here as Cardinal fans right now, and we're kind of waiting. Now, we are set to have an hour stream today, just because we got some things to do. Now, if there is breaking news that ends up happening later on today, obviously there will be another stream. So definitely make sure you have your post notification bell on. Make sure you get your drinks ready to go, because y'all, we're gonna be cheersing each other when this does go down. And I'm gonna be positive here. I'm gonna try to put some good juju out in the world when this does happen. And keep in mind, the only reason why I'm saying when is because I'm trying to put good juju out. But yeah, we will be doing another stream if it does happen later on today. If we still don't get any news, or if we do get news and it's not Sean Payton, let's just take a deep breath. Let's come to a kumbaya moment, and let's just realize that we need to support that next head coach. But another storyline that people aren't really talking about is what's going to happen to Vance, right? What's going to happen to Vance Joseph? Now, in the draft, let's continue to talk about the draft here real quick, because I think there's some people that are talking about in the draft here in the chat. I want the Cardinals to go quarterback in the draft. I do. Obviously not in the first rounds, and I'm not trying to say, I'm wearing a Kyler Murray jersey for Pete's sake. I want the Arizona Cardinals to try to see if we can get a Brock Purdy, not going to lie. Maybe in the 5th round, maybe in the 6th round. I don't think we have a 7th rounder. We got 2 6ths. Maybe we can go ahead and steal somebody that's not very high valued. I think that would be kind of cool. So if we did bring a veteran in free agency to help us bridge when Kyler comes back, we could have some sort of competition, right? A young buck coming out of college, but we have Sean Payton to help him out, or our next head coach to help him out. You know what I'm trying to get at. So we can help him out, and then we'll have that veteran on there. But we can truly have a quarterback competition, so a veteran doesn't come in here and it's like, oh, I'm going to win this job, right? I'm going to be the backup to Kyler. What I want is, I still want greatness. And we'll see how it goes. What's up, DMNK? Appreciate another contribution. He says, what do you think Cliff is doing right now, bro? Last we heard about Cliff Kingsbury is that he took a one-way ticket. This man has a one-way ticket, and he ended up going to Thailand. I'm not going to speculate on terms of specifically what he's doing. All I know is that I hope he's having fun over there with his girlfriend. I hope he's just having a great time over there. I don't want to give any bad negative juju on Cliff. I know he was an actual really good guy at heart, and a lot of people were actually pulling for him to be the head coach. It's just it kind of got to the point where Cardinal fans, in the relationship between the head coach and the Cardinal fans, got really, really toxic. And I think it was for the best for us to move on. And I think Cliff deep down understands that. I hope at least he does, because nobody's going to make a move like he did, right? I'm going to get a one-way ticket to Thailand. Everybody, peace out. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens. What's up, Tigo? What's going on? Appreciate the contribution, my dude. He says, I don't like Payton because I think he will leave if this job gets too tough, and he would be inheriting a team with less talent than any other coach. Ooh. See, you're not the first person who actually made that comment. You're not the first person who's made that. And I appreciate you actually making that comment so we can have some sort of conversation about it. To me, like, that's not a thought that I'm going to think about right now. I get that, I'm always one of those fans that I'm like, oh, we got to think about 4 or 5 years ahead, or like 3 years ahead, right? I've always been saying that on my streams, especially like me criticizing Keim when I was criticizing him and wanted him out. And I get that, right? Always wanted to think about the next year. But to me, Sean Payton is as good as it gets. I know he's only won 1 Super Bowl. I get it, right? He's only won 1 Super Bowl. And some people always try to discredit the fact that he's won 1 Super Bowl. Guys, like, think about it. There's not very many head coaches that's won Super Bowls. Like, let's be honest here. There's not many head coaches that's won Super Bowls. Being the fact that he's won 1 Super Bowl is great. Is great. We had a head coach in our locker room that's won a Super Bowl, right? And that's Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians left. He ended up winning a Super Bowl. Now, granted, yes, it was with Tom Brady. He ended up winning Super Bowl there. You know how bad that hurt? As a Cardinal fan, you know how bad that hurt? Because I liked Bruce Arians. I truly did. One of my favorite head coaches that we've had. And I want success for him. It's just, it sucks to see him not doing it with the Cardinals, right? At least winning that Super Bowl, because that's what we all want. That's what we all want. What's up, Hookah Therapy? Appreciate the contribution. He says, get Payton for compensatory picks. We got draft Will Anderson, trade more for picks for a DB, and draft O-line. So get Payton for get him for the picks so the only compensatory picks, sorry, it's a hard word for me. I can't speak today. The only comp picks that we have is the 97th overall, which is our 3rd rounder. We have a 169th, which is a 5th rounder, and then we have a 6th rounder, which is the 213th overall right now. So those are the comps that we have, and I don't know if the Saints are willing to take one of our comp picks, because they're pretty up there. They're pretty up there. The 97th is the closest to the one, right, or the highest one that we can give, and I think that they're after maybe the 35th, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Okay, so it says 35th. I thought it would be 34th because of Miami forfeiting their pick. It is I think it is the 34th. Yeah, because on Tankathon it's giving me the number 35. But if you think about it, because Miami forfeited their 21st overall, that pick is not there anymore. They might still call it 35, but I mean, I'm gonna keep it at 34, at least with me. But what does the Broncos have right now? The Broncos are sitting with where is the Broncos? The Broncos do have a 1st round pick, I heard. Oh, here they are. So the Broncos have the 30th overall, the 68th, and the 69th. Oof. So they do have 3 in the top 100. So right now, that's kind of what's up there right now, right? Right now, that's what's up there. It's either going to be the Cardinals or the Broncos. So the Cardinals or the Broncos seem to be the top candidates. If not them, it's going to be him going back to the media, right? So I agree with what you're saying. Maybe not the top part, just because I don't think that's what fans want for the Saints, like the Saints fans are going to say, or I don't think that's what the Saints are going to do either. But I agree. Will Anderson, huge. Trading more, I don't know. I don't think we can trade more if we trade Hop, right? We'll see how it goes there, but I agree DB and offensive line is something that we definitely need. There's still a lot of holes here. There's still a lot of holes here within the Arizona Cardinals organization, at least as of right now. So let me go ahead and do this here real quick. Let me do a real quick refresh. Let me just make sure that we're not missing anything, and I'm not letting you guys not hear the breaking news that's going on. And right now, of course, nothing going on as of right now. We do get a picture of Kyler Murray. That's kind of cool. Long road to recovery, Kyler Murray says. So if you guys want to take a look at Kyler Murray, it looks like he posted something. Looks very, very sad, if I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. Kyler Murray looking very, very sad. Let me go ahead and show you guys here real quick. I think he went ahead and made something on his Instagram. And this is what it is right here. I'm going to be posting it right now for you guys right now. Here's what Kyler Murray just posted. And I believe he said something along the lines of like, long recovery ahead. So hopefully nothing but great things for Kyler Murray moving forward, because obviously we need him at his best, right? Oh, actually, he didn't say anything. It's just that picture. He didn't say anything. It's just that picture. It looks like he just put. So we'll see, right? Kyler Murray, obviously our franchise quarterback. Nobody wants to see him like that. We truly don't. But it looks like he is. Man, that looks pretty rough. I'm not one to look at people's like, what are they called? Operations or anything bad. I just get like really queasy. I'm not really good at it. My wife is in the healthcare, so she loves to talk to me a lot about those queasy moments. I'm not down. I'm like, ugh, I can't. I get really bad reflexes. But here's Kyler Murray again, giving us an update on what's going on. Obviously, hopefully great things ahead and what's going to happen with the future of Kyler Murray. Let's get to these 2 contributions. We got JK Gamer says, what can we get if we trade AJ? Yo, we get nothing. Honestly, I think we have to give up something to get away with AJ. Like truly, like I don't think AJ's value is nowhere. I don't think even AJ Green is even under contract anymore. I think he's a free agent, technically. I believe, I'm not 100%, but I'm 95% sure that he is going to be a free agent this year. So I don't think AJ Green is even going to be an Arizona Cardinal if we don't continue to re-sign AJ Green. So great question. Appreciate the contribution, my dude. DMNK coming up with another super chat. What's up, man? He says, I would bet that Sean and a healthy Kyler would be bringing a Super Bowl in full. Facts. And here's the thing too. Like if we're a team that's constantly fighting for the NFC West, that's what we want, right? We get it. Like, if we get Sean Payton in here, if people are in their mind, like, let's say, for example, and I know there's some fans out there that are like, oh, we better win like 5 Super Bowls if we're going to pay that much. Like, be realistic here, Cardinal fans. Be realistic. If we'll be lucky to get 1 Super Bowl with a Kyler Murray and a Sean Payton together. 2 would be wonderful. But as long as we're fighting for the division year in and year out, that's what we want, right? That's what we want. We don't want to be the little brothers anymore. We don't want to be the little brothers of the NFC West anymore. It's something where we've seen it have, I don't know. It's fighting for the NFC West is top in mind right now for me. Fighting for the NFC West is top of mind for me right now. And yes, Super Bowl is obviously the big picture, but we need to get back into some sort of being a good football team. Like that's where we need to get to right now. So obviously a long road ahead here for the Arizona Cardinals, but just baby steps as of right now. And we'll kind of wait and see how it all shakes out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, happy 1,500 followers on Twitter. I think we just hit the 1,500 follower mark on Twitter. So big claps for that. And I think we just hit the 2,500 mark on Instagram. Snaps all around, ladies and gentlemen. The AZ Sports Fan Podcast is going places, ladies and gentlemen. Just hit 2,500 followers on Instagram. Just hit 1,500 followers on Twitter, which I feel like it's a very hard nut to crack with Twitter. I feel like that's one of the hardest social medias out there to go ahead and crack. So finger claps all around, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. We're going places. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's do this. Let's end this stream by talking about the 4 final games. Or sorry, the 2 final games. The conference championship. Sorry, but who do you think is going to win? We got some championship football here. The conference championship is this weekend. Who do you guys got? Let's go ahead and first talk about 49ers and Eagles, which is the first game up. 49ers and Eagles. Who you guys got? Who do you think is going to go ahead? Who's going to represent us in the NFC? Is it the 49ers or the Eagles? Let me know in the chat here, ladies and gentlemen. And that's how we're going to be ending our stream. My question to you guys is, who do you got? 49ers or the Eagles? Now, like I said a little earlier, while we wait for everybody to go ahead and do that chat, we will go live later on today if we get breaking news. So just FYI, we will be doing it. Let's see what people are. So we got a lot of people saying Eagles. Okay, we got some Eagle fans. Okay, we got not fans, but we see Eagle. Okay, seems like people are on the Eagle train right now. Somebody says the Chiefs versus the Eagles. Okay, so you're saying the Chiefs over the Bengals. Did you guys know that the Bengals have never lost, or Joe Burrow has never lost to Mahomes? Have you ever heard that, ladies and gentlemen? There's some 49er people out there rooting for Purdy. Okay, cool. The Eagles versus the Bengals. Honestly, I think the Bengals are getting overlooked like the Bills overlooked the Bengals. I think the Bengals are actually a really good team. Burrow has never lost to Mahomes. Hear me well. Burrow has never lost to Mahomes. That's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be 49ers versus the Cincinnati Bengals. 49ers versus the Cincinnati Bengals Super Bowl. So we'll see. What's up, Braden? I think the last contribution of the day says, I agree that we need to focus on not being a write-off, win on another team's schedule and get 100%. Facts, dude, facts. You know how many times people look at us on their schedule and like, oh, that's a win. You know how annoying that is as a Cardinal fan for myself, and you know how dramatic I am, right? You know how dramatic I am. It's annoying. I hate being the little brother. I hate being that little brother of the NFC West. I hate it. So we need to get back to competitive football, right? We need to get back to a level of being competent and being competitive. I guess not competent, but competitive within our own West, right? We need to start putting some respect on our name. And a Sean Payton would be a step in the right direction, ladies and gentlemen. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This has been an absolute pleasure speaking to everybody. Like I said a little earlier, if we do get breaking news, we will be going ahead and getting another live stream coming through, because this is a huge storyline. If you guys haven't done so already, smack the like button on this video and subscribe if this is your first time here. Big shout out to all the people dropping contributions on this channel. Thank you so very much. It does mean the world that you do that, and you don't have to, but I definitely thank you so very much for doing that. Smack the like button, subscribe, join the family. And one last thing, we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy, ladies and gentlemen. If you like fantasy football or fantasy anything, make sure you go ahead and download the free app Free app. It's absolutely for free. Underdog Fantasy. If you use the promo code AZSF, they will match your deposit. So if you put $10 down, they'll give you $10. If you put $50 down, they'll give you $50 to use. If you give 100, they'll give you 100. They will match only up to 100 though, ladies and gentlemen. If you do anything more than that, it'll only be matched up to $100. It's just FYI. So go ahead and use my promo code AZSF to go ahead and become a part of the Underdog Fantasy. If you want to start winning some money, definitely go ahead and start it up with Underdog Fantasy, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Thanks for the sponsorship. Thank you so very much for everybody that's in the chat. Have a great rest of your day. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to everybody as usual. Thank you so very much. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cards.